All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for some real people out there just like you and just like me. In this video, we are going to go back into the area of rock stars who think they know what they're talking about and they just don't. Keith Richards, again, has called out Eric Clapton, who he calls his friend. And Eric has been rather quiet, if you haven't noticed, and I have, some insight into why that is. But Eric Clapton is the last person on this planet who wants this ongoing smear campaign against him because he's some kind of conspiracy theorist because he had a reaction to something, right? He did, by the way. Keith Richards says in this article, follow the experts, follow your doctor. And guess what? Clapton did do that initially. He did it, Keith. And again, I have to keep repeating this in videos. And I haven't done a video on Clapton in a while because, quite honestly, the narrative changed. I mean, Biden gave his State of the Union address, and the thing-demic was over. He declared victory. It's over. And everybody took off their oxygen-inhibiting devices, and they're all hugging and embracing and kissing and fawning and handshaking and all that stuff because it was declared that, it was done. And even though people still are under some kind of Stockholm syndrome when you go out and you see them at the supermarket or whatever, the government basically said, we're all done with this. But there are certain publications and there are certain areas in our society that continue to cling to the narrative that we need to be on guard. And the only way we can be on guard is to get the thing, go to Walgreens again. They're talking third, fourth version of it, fifth version of it. Keep doing this because it's been so amazing and effective, right? That's the narrative. And what irks me about Keith Richards is he's out there, badgering Eric Clapton, who has not been in the media lately. And the reason for that is Eric is kind of busy. Eric is back out there. You wouldn't know it. You should have an article that mentions this big concert that Eric Clapton is doing, right? Rather than talking about something from at least a few months ago. I was the last person that Eric Clapton spoke with that I know of about this issue. And then, we had a 1-part and then a 2-part interview. You can go look them up. The interviews, especially that first one, was really throttled back quite a bit. The interview is also on Rumble, and I believe it's probably on Odyssey as well. So again, if you want to see these interviews, plenty of places to go and see it. And yeah, did Clapton buy into some of the so-called conspiracy theory stuff? Like when he talked to me regarding, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, that there's some kind of other agenda going on and that nobody else in the media is allowed to really explore this, at least in the mainstream. Only us crazy tinfoil hat wearing people who read things and then process what we read. And then we say, wow, this does seem like they want to do something to the population. And they're not going to tell. Why? You think they're going to tell you that? And then, okay, so Keith Richards, here's a little tidbit. Here's a little nugget for you. So we learned during this that money was transferred directly from these pharmaceutical companies, directly from them to news agencies and social media influencers. It was direct. I mean, everybody just admits it after the fact. And nobody seems to think that's nefarious or that's maybe something that is influencing public policy on this. And we continue to hear the same drumbeat, safe and effective, and go do. And even after it was declared that was over, it was, we're past this. Some people have smartly said, we're just going to have to live with this issue. But this solution isn't right for everybody. And you would think Keith Richards, a guy who abused plenty of substances over the years and did not treat his body well, is then going to lecture a fellow guitar player who probably did many of the same things, but has come to the conclusion that this isn't what I want to do now. And again, second time in this video, I'm going to mention it because it's really important. Eric Clapton did do the thing. He did it twice. Okay. Again, for you rock media types who forget this, he did do it twice. All right. Now, apparently your body is not supposed to have any issues following that, even if it has issues. In other words, it's all in your brain. We've heard from certain rock publications that, oh, he seems fine. He's back out there. He's just bankrolling all of these people. He's a spokesperson. He's not a spokesperson for anything. Eric Clapton is the last person who's a spokesperson for this movement. If you want to get on like Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s case or Del Bigtree or some of these people who are out there really hammering this home, then go talk to them. Keith Richards and rock publications, go badger them. All right. Clapton wants to be left alone. I know this firsthand. He wants to be left alone. And you people can't do it. All right. He's a legend. He's out there performing. He has a different opinion than you do. Leave it there. So does Van Morrison. And there are others out there. So does Travis Tritt, the country singer. And I can go through a small but pretty important list of people who've just departed. It's like the same people, by the way, who bought in, and this is controversial now, but the same people who did 100% buy-in on this have their little flag icons now blue and yellow. Why is that? We went from one campaign to the next campaign and everybody just in lockstep. And some people are like, oh, I've been trained to get the numbers each day and to find out where I can go get my next booster and so forth. And now this is happening. So I'm really confused. What do I do? Can I do everything? Can I virtue signal to every issue that's out there? I mean, it's madness, and people aren't allowed to think for themselves. And then the alternate information, like whole networks, whole international television networks are being banned. They're being banned because they don't want you to see a different side of this. They call it propaganda. Okay, so whose propaganda do you listen to? If you're going to just equal it all out and say, well, they're sending propaganda and then our government is using propaganda, everybody's using propaganda. So this is why you need informed consent. And nobody, Keith Richards, a government, nobody should be deciding for you what is true and what is not true. Nobody is the arbiter of truth, right? You are your own best advocate when it comes to your own body, when it comes to your health decisions, when it comes to your privacy, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, get your QR code. Oh, yeah, we were doing the QR codes at the concert. Now we just decided not to do it anymore. All right, but you've already collected all my info. It's out there. How many times is it out there? So look, all I can say about Keith Richards and his trust the experts, Keith, trust the experts. The directors of all of these large so-called omnipresent organizations around the world have all been eating a ton of crow since Biden declared this thing to be done. Well, he didn't actually say it. No, he didn't, but he pretty much, virtue signaled and took off his diaper, and everybody else did too. That was all there. That whole thing was great theater, and it was to show everybody, oh, we're doing it, so you can too. Sorry, I've been not following their edicts since May of 2020. May or June of 2020. Once I realized this was ridiculous, I stopped doing it. And a few other people, I would say 5 to 10% of the people did that. But then you still have, even now, 30 or 40% of the people still doing it. I would say maybe 30 here where I live, but it's higher in other states. I mean, you have to make your own decisions for yourself. You cannot listen to the so-called experts because the so-called experts don't know what they're talking about. And informed consent is getting a second opinion, maybe different from the first one, not identical to the one you just got, because that's not giving you all the information. Are there any other doctors that believe differently? Well, I don't see them on TV, so there must not be any. Okay, so we'll just move on. And poor Joe Rogan, who's involved in this too. He's, part of this crowd. He hasn't had any, rebuttals on his show. He doesn't have anybody else who's going to be countering McCullough or Malone and those crazy tinfoil hat doctors who are probably some of the most published physicians on planet Earth, but we're not supposed to follow them. We're just supposed to ignore it. So I find Keith Richards calling out anybody when it has to do with health issues. Let's just be frank here, okay? Keith Richards is your health expert. Keith Richards is your doctor. I mean, he just managed to quit smoking like 2 years ago. He did. He didn't say he quit drinking, by the way. He didn't say he quit drinking, but he did quit smoking. He didn't say he quit any other substance usage either. Maybe he is doing it, maybe he's not doing it, but I don't think Keith Richards is living the cleanest lifestyle on the planet. He says he has more wind now that he's not smoking on stage. Good. He's 78 years old. It's about time, right? So in any event, I've defended Eric Clapton. I'm apparently the only person on the internet that defends Eric Clapton. So it's my claim to fame. I still think Eric Clapton is a great artist. I still think his guitar playing is amazing. And in fact, he seems very inspired by all of this stuff. But again, last time I'm going to say it, he's the last person on the planet who wants this argument to continue. I think he just wants these people to go away and leave him alone so he can earn a living, so he can take care of his family. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching.